Welcome to Oradea, Romania. We're going to be spending the next week in this town known for its Art Nouveau architecture. And in this video, we'll take you around as we explore and appreciate that architecture, as well as experience their delicious cuisine. Stay tuned to the end. We'll give you a tour of our Airbnb and a breakdown of all our expenses.
So as Georgia mentioned, Oradea is known for their architecture, and walking around this morning, you can't help but notice how beautiful it is.
Yeah, we went to Riga last summer, and I know that's another town that is known for its Art Nouveau architecture. And here, it's just so much more impressive. I think it might be because the town is just smaller, so all those Art Nouveau buildings are kind of clustered together more. You see them like right next to each other, but it is so, so beautiful.
So walking around's worked up quite the appetite, so we're gonna go get some traditional Romanian food.
Yeah, you'll probably find throughout this video that we pronounce a lot less stuff and just put words on the screen. Romanian is definitely a very difficult language, and the pronunciations don't come naturally to us, so rather than butcher them, we're just gonna put the name of the restaurant on the screen now.
Just finished our delicious lunch.
I got the, I believe it's pronounced sarmale, which are basically stuffed cabbage rolls. They're cooked in like a tomato sauce, and they have rice and ground meat on the inside. They were super delicious, very well seasoned. Mine came with polenta and sour cream as a side.
And then I got the beef tongue with horseradish sauce, and I got some golden potatoes along with that. The tongue was a little chewy. I think they left the taste buds on it, so it was tasting me back. And but the potatoes were delicious, and the sauce was amazing too.
The sauce, that horseradish cream sauce was super delicious. And overall, the price was really great too. We got 2 beers and a large sparkling water to share. And even after tip, the price was really nice. Yeah. So we definitely appreciated that. I think we're gonna go continue to check out some of the architecture and walk off some of these calories, because the food here is definitely on the richer, heartier side. Mm-hmm. Behind me now is what's called the Moon Church, and the reason it's called that is because there is a little dome on the front that changes with the cycles of the moon. So when it is a full moon, it's completely yellow, and when it is a new moon, it is completely black. As you can see, there's just a little sliver of moon showing right now. Unfortunately, it does appear there's a bunch of scaffolding on the front, so they're doing some kind of reconstruction. Hopefully we can head inside.
Behind us now is Black Eagle Palace, one of the more well-known Art Nouveau buildings here in Oradea.
And this one actually has like shops and bars in the bottom floor, so we can go walk around it. that is kind of one of the cool, or maybe not so cool things about all the buildings here, is most of the Art Nouveau buildings are actually apartments, so people live in them. So you can't go in them to check them out, but at the same time, I think it's really neat that they're actually being used and people live in them and appreciate that architecture every day.
So we're still fighting the fight against jet lag, so we decided to stop in for an afternoon coffee.
Yeah, we got 2 flat whites in the cutest little cafe. I loved, they had these like portraits of like cats and dogs and other animals like dressed in like formal attire. It was really, really cute. And the coffee was super delicious too. I've heard that the coffee in Romania is good, and so far, can confirm.
We just got back to our Airbnb after our delicious dinner.
Yeah, it was really, really good. We decided we would kind of splurge and go to a fine dining restaurant, you know, white tablecloths, bottle of wine, all that. And it was totally worth it. It was kind of expensive, like in Romanian standards, but for a fancy meal anywhere else in the world, it was very, very reasonable. We did get a bottle of local wine. There is a local grape. Put it on the screen here. And the wine that we got was a blend of Merlot and that grape. And it was a little bit kind of sweet and cherry floral on the front. And then on the back, there was like this smoky kind of tannic note. It was really delicious. I got the beef stroganoff, and it paired very well with the like creamy, rich sauce.
I got the ossobuco. It didn't go as well with the ossobuco, but it was still very good.
Yeah, and the ossobuco was super tender, very well cooked, very well seasoned.
And it came with a saffron risotto, which was also very nice.
Yeah, everything was really good there. I would definitely go back. And they have cheaper options too. They had pizzas and burgers that were obviously a lot cheaper than getting ossobuco or beef stroganoff. But again, super, super good. Sometimes we find that when you spend more, you don't necessarily get more. But there, I would say the ingredients were higher quality and the service was better and the atmosphere was better. So very happy with that. I think we are getting ready to crash though. We did have a long day and we've got plans for tomorrow.
So this morning we woke up to less than ideal weather. It's about 50 degrees and it's a little bit rainy.
Yeah, so we kind of hang around in bed a little bit, had some hot tea, and now we're coming out to get some of that delicious, hearty Romanian food. There's a traditional restaurant that's only about 1 kilometer from our Airbnb, so we're gonna head there now.
So lunch was delicious. I got the beef and dumpling soup, which tasted very homemade and awesome.
Yeah, I started with the chicken soup, which had like fresh pulled chicken and a very flavorful broth. It also came with homemade bread. Then I got the turkey breast that was pounded thin, deep fried, and stuffed with cheese and prunes. It was a super delicious combination. Absolutely loved it.
And I got the pork neck and garlic sauce, and that was absolutely amazing, delicious. And the crispy potatoes that came along with it were even better.
Yeah, and the price for all that was super reasonable. Service was great. I definitely loved that little restaurant. I think it might be hard to top. We really like that kind of like hearty food. We love the food in Lithuania and Latvia too. And Romania so far has been fantastic. Despite the fact that the weather is pretty abysmal today, we're going to try to see a couple more things before heading back to the Airbnb. So I think first we're going to head to the Episcopal Cathedral. And then after that, I think, is the fortress.
So we went back to our Airbnb for a few hours to hide out from the rain.
But the rain has stopped. The sun is kind of poking out a little bit, even though it is almost sunset. So we decided we would come back out and go to a little restaurant here that has the like very famous local dessert, as well as meat, which are little like casingless sausages that serves mustard and bread. So we're gonna go try them.
So first stop today is Placenteria Zena.
Basically, these are like thick crepes that have different fillings. We were able to use Google Translate on the menu, and I think we've ordered cherry and apple.
Both the apple and cherry were absolutely delicious, and paired with the cappuccino, it made it the perfect breakfast.
So after our delicious traditional breakfast, we decided to take a little stroll, and now we're in this beautiful park.
This park houses the Roman Catholic Cathedral, as well as an Episcopal museum. So we're gonna go see if we can check them out.
We just finished up in the Ecclesiastical Museum, which is housed in what used to be the Bishop's Palace.
The entrance to get in was 25 lei for the ground and first floor, and then it was additional 15 lei to see the exhibit on the second floor. And I would just do the 25 lei because the first or the ground floor has just a couple little rooms where they have some gold pieces and some explanation of how the palace was built. And then on the first floor, they have a bunch of portraits of the bishops, and also you can see some of the really beautiful rooms staged with furniture. There are some beautiful murals on the wall and some stucco work on the ceilings, really pretty. And then that final floor is just a modern art exhibition, which isn't really our cup of tea. I mean, if it is, you might enjoy it, but it didn't have any of the cool rooms or furniture or anything like that. But overall, I really did like it. There was a lady who spoke English who kind of followed at a respectable distance behind us in case we had any questions. And it was a good experience. And that is one thing I'll say here is that pretty much everyone almost seems to speak English on some level. A lot of the music we've heard are like pop hits from the US. And I think basically everybody under the age of maybe 40 has a pretty decent grasp of English. I will say I think people who are maybe in their like 60s, 70s, not so much. But it has been surprising, being that we're in Oradea, which is definitely not like a big tourist destination, how easy it has been for us to function. Almost every menu that we've been given has been completely in English, which is the one downside though. It's kind of like that in Mexico, you know, it's like the Spanish words and then English underneath, so you can kind of learn some of the language and some of the food items. And here I don't even know the traditional name for a lot of the food items because it just says like pork neck or fried donut. It doesn't actually have the Romanian word for it. So I haven't learned as much Romanian as I would have hoped.
So after the museum and walking around the gardens, we decided it was time for a beer. So we came to Euphoria Beer Garden.
They have a wide selection of beers, both local and imported. I got a Marzen beer, which was very good.
I got the dark beer. I don't remember the name of it, but it was really very good. It had a kind of a raisin taste to it. It was nice.
Really nice. And then we both got two different kinds of homemade sausages. I got the beer sausage. David got their sausage of the house. And then we got some garlic fried potatoes. Everything was really delicious. We got a second round of beers because, hey, why not? And overall, the price was very reasonable. We both enjoyed it. And I think we're going to go and take advantage of some of this beautiful weather and keep on walking.
We spent the afternoon in our Airbnb doing some planning.
Yeah, I found out that maybe the train system in Romania is not quite as fast or as vast as I hoped it would be. So it looks like we're going to be getting up very early and taking a 6 a.m. 3-hour bus to Cluj and then taking a 3-hour train to Sighisoara next. So it's only a 4-hour drive from here, but it's going to take us a 7-hour travel day to get there. But it's all booked and we're ready to go. And now we're getting kind of hungry, so I think we're going to get something to eat.
We just finished up our dinner at Restaurant La Opte.
It was fantastic. The service was excellent. The restaurant was really beautiful. It was kind of like a long brick wine cellar. We did get another bottle of local wine, which was super delicious, and our pizzas were fantastic. That crust had that really good, like kind of almost sourdough flavor, and it had kind of those like bubbly burnt edges. The cheese was very high quality. I had a truffle sauce on mine, and it was real truffle, not that weird truffle oil stuff. And then
I had that balsamic on mine with some prosciutto, and it was excellent, delicious.
Really, really good. Highly recommend this place. And yet again, we got a bottle of sparkling water, a full bottle of wine, 2 whole pizzas, and after tip, the price was still super reasonable. So loving Romania. The food, the restaurants, fantastic.
So it looks like weather tomorrow is going to be rainy and cold, so I think this is going to be our last day exploring Oradea.
Yeah, we went to the grocery store this morning and we picked up some fresh bread, some cheeses, some cured meats, some eggs, and a bottle of wine with some sparkling water, all for a really great price as well. The grocery store prices here are very reasonable, just like the restaurants. So we're going to stay in tomorrow and get ready for our trip to Sighisoara the next day. But today we're going to return to, I think, what is our favorite restaurant here in Oradea and have lunch there again.
Just finished up our lunch at Capitolium, and once again, it was fantastic.
Yeah, definitely our favorite restaurant. We did get the turkey stuffed with cheese and prunes again. Super delicious. I got a like sliced pork dish and like a creamy paprika sauce with spatzle. And that is one thing about this area, is that Oradea was actually owned by Hungary for a while, and then Romania, and then Hungary again, and then Romania. So you can find kind of a mix of the two different foods here, which is nice. We also finished with a papanazzi, which are those little donuts covered with like cream and fresh blueberry sauce.
Amazing.
Their version was the best. It was so, so good. And again, the price was so phenomenal. Love that restaurant. Wish we could go to it one more time, but we're running out of time. So right now, I think we're going to just continue to wander around the city a bit. Like I said before, the architecture is amazing. And so we're just going to check out a little more of it.
So after walking around town for a couple hours, we think we deserve a beer. And this place looks like it has a good view and some good beers.
Yeah, after that, I think we're going to head to a museum. As I mentioned before, most of the Art Nouveau buildings here are private residences, so you can't enter. But there is one that has been turned into a museum, so hopefully we can check it out.
So just finished up in Casa d'Arves. It was 15 lei each and totally worth it.
Yeah, the museum was really neat. They had a lot of the rooms where you could actually walk around the furniture so you could see things up close. I haven't been to like an Art Nouveau style house before, so it's really neat to see all the stained glass and the period furniture, which was definitely very different from other styles of furniture. And then in the final room, they actually have this like little projection movie in what used to be like the kids' nursery, and it was so cool.
Yeah,
Definitely worth it. Happy that we fit that in on our last day. I think we're gonna walk around a little bit more and then maybe head back to the Airbnb to try and do a little laundry.
For our last meal out, we're going to our second favorite restaurant here in Oradea.
Yeah, we're going back to La Taverna. We've actually been there 3 times. We went there on our first night and we didn't film. And then of course we filmed last time, and we'll show you what we order again this time. But the food there has been fantastic and the service is just so great. And I don't know, it just has a good atmosphere, good vibes.
And it's also like 2 steps outside of our Airbnb.
Yeah. So after our delicious dinner at Taverna, we have come back to the beer garden because there are a couple of local liqueurs that we wanted to try. This is known as Sueca, I believe it's pronounced. But it's basically the same thing as the Palenka that we had in Budapest. But it is only made from plums here in Romania. It's better than the Palenka than we had in Budapest. Still not my favorite thing, but not bad. We did get a couple of delicious dark beers. And now, this is Unicum, I believe, and it is a aperitif. It is a digestif. It's a bitter liqueur. So let's see. That is very bitter and very herbally. It reminds me a little bit of the black balsam that we had in Latvia. but it's actually even more bitter. Not bad. All right, well, usually I give you a tour the morning that we're leaving, but since we have to get up at 4 a.m. to catch a 6 a.m. bus, I'm gonna go ahead and do it the night before. So when you first come in, they have this giant massage chair. We have our coats up here because it is a bit cold here. Through this way, we have the living room, which has the biggest couch we might have ever had, a nice large TV. And then, as you can see, we have been using this room to charge all of our things. Back towards the front door, we have our suitcases ready for the morning. You can see there's a little coat closet there, and we have a washer, but there is no dryer. Here we have a full-size fridge, dining table, and here is the little kitchen area. Down the hall here to the right, we have a little half bath. It has a bidet, toilet, and sink. And then we have this room here we've used for storage and as kind of closet space. Then here we have the full bath, sink, bathtub, another short shower, which seems to be a theme here in Europe. And you can see toilet there. And then down here was the master bedroom. So you can see bed here. We had 2 nightstands, have some closet space there, little space for me to do my makeup. And there was a TV here in the corner, even though we didn't use it. So overall, really comfortable space, excellent location. It is on a walking street. We very much enjoyed it. And now for that cost breakdown. We spent $458 for 7 nights in that comfortable and well-located Airbnb. We spent just $47 on transportation, which was the train from Budapest and then a Bolt from the train station to our apartment. We spent just $25 on entertainment, $57 at bars and on alcohol. We only spent $389 at restaurants, and we had so many good meals out. We spent $74 on groceries and just $5 on personal care. That brings the grand total to $1,055, or just $151 per day. Thanks for watching, and as always, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please leave them down below. If you haven't already, check out last week's video where we explore the city of Budapest.